let's talk about all MLB Latino players between
Latino players.
2025. Talk to me. Give me catcher all the way to utility player, all Latino.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay, catcher Yadier Molina. To me, the best defensive catcher of the generation, maybe of all time. First base, Albert Pujols. Second base, this one I have Jose Altuve just because of the more decorated career. So to me, I put Cano on the other list because I feel like that's more of an important list. Whereas this one, I say, all right, I'll throw Altuve a bone. So I got Altuve at second base here. Third base, Adrian Beltré. At shortstop, Francisco Lindor. This one is not close. I'm sorry. I know people want
Yeah,
to say
no, I
this is
know.
close. It's not close.
What about the
Left field.
10? What about all the gold gloves by Omar Vizquel and all that stuff? You're gonna get heat.
Yo, why you you tried it? Tú me quieres meter en problema. Yeah, bro. Yeah, but Omar Vizquel, ¿cuándo fue que se retiró? ¿En el
2012.
2012
Yeah,
o 11?
por
I
ahí.
forget. That guy was dragging already in the 2000s. What are we
He was trying
talking
to get
about?
them
Like,
3,000 hits. He couldn't
yo,
get.
oh my God. Like, I don't like that. Like when you guys, like when you just dragging and dragging, like the guy looked like a bad boy already at the end of his career. Like, what are we doing? Vizquel, no, sorry. Lo siento, but I got another chamo there. At left field, I got Bobby Abreu. Yes, I know this one he did play left field a little
Yeah,
bit,
he
not a
did. He
lot.
did. No, no, no. He did. He did.
But so I got Bobby Abreu at left. I have to reward a guy like that. He put up good numbers in that time period. Had a very good career. Not a Hall of Famer, but Hall of the very good.
All of the very
Um,
good. Mhm.
yes. Carlos Beltran, he will be a Hall of Famer. Center field, right field, Vladimir Guerrero, papa. That's right. Come on. That guy's arm was a bazooka, played with messed up knees, but listen, when he needed to, he can get that throw.
Yeah.
At the designated hitter, duh, David Ortiz. Who else is it going to be? And the utility, all right, I'll throw you a bone. I'll give you Miguel Cabrera, the utility on this one.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna give you mine, and we're gonna argue. I think we're only gonna argue about
Go ahead.
one guy. Okay,
Go
catcher.
ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna start with the starting pitches for the clip, I guess. Felix
Wait. Did I
Hernandez.
give you? Oh,
Go ahead.
I gave. Oh, yeah, I did give you the pitches. Go. Never mind.
All right, so I'm gonna give you the pitches. I got Felix Hernandez,
Uh
Javier
huh.
Vasquez, Bartolo
Uh huh.
Colon, Pedro
Uh
Martínez, Johan
huh.
Santana, and Mariano Rivera as the closer.
Yeah, that's like
Then,
the easiest one ever. Yeah.
of course, catcher I got Yadier Molina, Albert Pujols, Robinson Canó, Adrián Beltré, Francisco Lindor, Manny Ramirez on left field, center field Carlos Beltrán, right field Vladimir Guerrero Sr., DH I got David Ortiz, and utility player Miguel Cabrera. That's
Damn.
it.
All right. I feel like just taking all these and switching them. I'm gonna switch all my.
Wait, why? Why? What
I'm gonna
happened?
because I don't like that we have them all the same. I don't like that.
No,
I'm gonna
we don't
take.
have them
Okay,
the
no,
same.
we
There's
have a
only
lot of them the
one.
same.
So
No,
Cano
we
and
have a lot of
Altuve,
them the same.
we already argued, right?
We went over that. Yeah, we
Yeah.
went over that.
But the other one was left field, right? This one
Go
I don't
ahead.
think is close. I'm sorry. I don't think it's
Go
close.
ahead. Go ahead.
Look, between 2000 and 2007, I mean 2000 and 2011, right? Manny Ramirez accumulated 44 WAR, right? And Bobby Abreu, from 2000 to 2014, when he retired, he accumulated only 47, right?
Wow. Yeah.
Now, on that same timeline, Manny Ramirez got an MVP. He got two World Series. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, the accolades are just on Manny's way. I mean, come on,
I'll be honest with you.
go.
I don't like Manny Ramirez. That's what
God
that's
damn it,
so
bro.
that this might be no, listen. This may be bias on my this is bias. And I'll tell you, for me, I don't like him. And the reason I don't like him, I don't like him. No. I'll tell you why I don't like him.
Mhm.
I thought he was a clown show in the outfield. I hated the stuff he used to do. But using reason what you said, despite his defensive shortcomings, we can't dispute the fact that his OPS, slugging, RBI production, and home runs, obviously,
Mhm.
doubles, extra base hits are
Out of this world.
Ridiculous.
Out of this.
Yeah, so it almost makes up for the fact that he was a minus defender.
Mhm,
And like you said, if you're going off of WAR, especially through that short period of time,
mhm.
compared to when Bobby retired,
Yeah.
yes, it's pretty good. But if you take away the last 5 years where Bobby Abreu was está gateando, it's a lot closer. No, I'm serious because Bobby
Yeah.
Abreu had some all-star years in there. He had
Yeah.
gold glove years. He had years where he stole 20 plus. He was multifaceted.
Yeah.
Um, and surely he was not the offensive player that Manny was.
Money was
Uh,
no.
few are. Um, so I think it's a good. You can't go wrong. Manny, that's the cheat code for left field. So I guess if you want to take Manny, go ahead. I think you can't argue against it. The only
Yeah.
argument is his defense was terrible, which I don't. I just never liked his defensive stuff he would do with throwing to the cutoff like he would. What's the one where he did? Where he throw it to the.
Johnny
He
Damon,
cuts
no,
off
that
his
Johnny
own.
Damon cuts off. He cut him off and then he threw it. Yeah, he's silly. He's silly. He was silly.
It's silly, bro. He was
Eh,
crazy.
Tell
But
me something though. What creo que pasa on Boston? Like first, it was Manny. Before Manny wasn't like trying to move on from Boston for a while. Like,
yeah,
what's wrong with Boston? I mean, it's not the first time that we see a Devers thing. A Jaron Duran last year had some break, like I don't know something. I don't know, like what's going on with Boston?
I'll tell you. I'll tell you. Okay, so here's the deal with Boston, and this needs to be said. And this is why this is what makes examples like David Ortiz so rare,
Mhm.
because David Ortiz played the bulk of his career in a city like Boston where he was under the pressure. And Boston is a city that has a uh, severe racial undertones. What is
Adam
it? Overtones. I'm sorry, it is what
Undertones.
it is. Undertones, right? There's a
Adam Jones
history
talked
there.
about it. Well, we saw it. We
Cor-
saw it that year.
Right, and we've seen it, and so even more so for African Americans,
Mhm.
for throughout the years, obviously history and all that, and so the same could apply, I'm sure, for Latino players too. People of color, um, and so I don't want to say it's just that, but I think that could be part of it. There's a lot of hostility there. Um, we've seen over the years there's been a lot of preferential treatment for white American players. We've seen it. White American players rarely get any pushback for anything. They have great long careers with no nonsense and just kind of go along. Um, Ted
The best
Williams,
example
who
I can give you was basically um Ellsbury, which went
Ellsbury,
to the Yankees, and then when he came back, he came out as a hero. Like, whoa,
right?
like he
Correct,
just stole
correct.
money
Yeah,
from them, whatever.
yeah.
That's
He was a scrub. He was a zero for the Yankees. That was probably the worst contract in Yankee history besides Carl
I think
Pavano.
so.
Those
No,
are
no,
the
no.
two
I think that
ones.
was no. I think that was the worst one.
Ellsbury,
That
yeah,
might have been
yeah. That was
Ellsbury.
a disaster. Disaster. He was a dog.
Yeah.
There's no other way to say. I don't care what anybody says that he was hurt. No, 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 no. Ese tipo, he was a dog.
Yeah.
A dog. I'm not even a Yankee fan, and I got pissed watching him. I don't like players who aren't professional.
Mhm.
Because people pay money to see you, fans look up to you. You're making a lot of money, and there's people out here, struggling, who work, bust their ass to make a buck. And you're out
Mhm.
here fooling around.
I agree.
There's a kid in the minors somewhere who could. You're taking somebody's spot.
Mhm.
You
I
know,
agree. I agree.
and
100%. What were you gonna
so
say about Ted Williams? I'm sorry.
no, no. So Ted Williams, what a lot of people don't know is that Ted Williams for many years denied his Mexican heritage so that he can blend in.
Mhm.
Because if people would have known that he were Mexican, his mother's Mexican. Like
Yeah.
his mother was Mexican. And so for many years he hid that because he wanted to live a normal life. And whether you judge him for that or not, that's not even the discussion. That's kind of why I never really looked at him as Mexican because I don't. But again, I'm not Mexican, so I don't. However, they want to embrace him. If they do, they should. If that's the case, right? But I never thought they looked at him like Mexican because of that, because he didn't embrace them like that when he could have. Think about what he could have meant to them back then if he would have rose.
No, I'll tell you this. I saw something. They were interviewing some girl, a Dominican girl, from the New York Liberty. What's her name? Esmeri
Right, right. Se me
Martinez,
olvidó.
right?
Ajá, así.
Yeah, but they were asking her because the interviewer is Mexican, right? And he was like, "Yo, I
I
don't know
saw
why."
this. I saw it.
Yeah,
I
you
saw
saw it,
it. Go
right?
ahead.
And basically, the tone of the conversation was basically whenever a Dominican sees a Dominican player out shining and just being out there being great, eh,
Regardless of where they're, regardless of birth
but-
country, right? If they're
correct,
American or right, got you.
they like them and they support him and they'll put the flag out there for him. But Mexicans, on the other hand, for some reason, they're like, "Oh no, he's not truly Mexican. He's not fully. He was born out
Ajá.
there.
Es
He doesn't speak the
Chicano.
language. Es Chicano. You know, so they have that. They have that thing where I don't know that it doesn't happen to most Dominican and Puerto Rican players. Maybe
Right,
because I guess at least on any other sports, we don't have too many of them. And
right, right.
DR, whatever. But I don't know why Mexico would be like that with their players. So maybe the
Well,
Ted Williams
I think,
thing might have not gone well for him either because maybe both sides would have hated him.
well, here's the thing. No, you're right. And it was a different time too.
And it
I
was a
think that's a big
completely
part of it. It was
different
a
time.
different time. So
Different time.
that could have messed up his money too,
Hmm.
his opportunities.
Hmm.
It could have been really difficult for him. So I think he chose to assimilate because it was gonna be a lot easier for him. And
Definitely.
what are you gonna do? I can't judge someone based on whatever their uh, circumstances were. I didn't walk about in his shoes. So
No, and
uh,
also he regretted that. He did say that he regretted that. He didn't talk about it more, but he did something for the community eventually before, after he retired. So, you can't hate him for it. Like you said, it
yeah,
was a too different. By that time, if Boston is racist now,
yeah.
imagine
Imagine
80
back
years
then,
ago.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. They would be like, oh, nah, este tipo, forget it, you gotta leave,
Yeah.
And you think about how interesting this is, right? Think about the connection that Boston of all cities has with Mexican baseball players.
Mm.
When you think about it, they've had this little pipeline for some, you
Yeah.
had think about it, you had Ted Williams, you had Nomar, you had now you're gonna have Marcelo Mayer,
And Jaren
Jaren
Duran.
Duran.
Mhm.
That's interesting, and they really can tap into that,
I mean,
and
maybe not the best example, but I think Vicente Padilla played for them too.
no, pero no, pero Vicente Padilla es
Oh no, he's
nicaragüense.
Nicaraguan. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I
Yeah,
was
but
watching something the other day about Vicente. I'll tell you later when we get off.
yeah, yeah. Pero
Keep going, keep
Vicente
going. I'm sorry.
Padilla. Nah, pero yeah, so and that's really how you do it, right? Because when we think of Mexican baseball players, we typically think about the Dodgers,
The Dodgers.
right? But their historical connections and the neighborhood, right? And I always thought that the Dodgers should have recruited heavily and
Mhm.
scouted heavily in Mexico.
I
I always
agree.
thought they
I
should
agree.
have. That's it,
Mhm.
to me. That makes that's a no brainer.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, Arizona should do the same. I don't know what these clubs are doing or not doing, but that's something that should be.
I don't know.
It just makes
Mexico
business.
is
It makes
growing.
business
Mhm. I
sense.
agree. Arizona, eh, all the LA teams. I
Colorado,
mean, Colorado. Who else? All the Texas teams should be doing
yeah,
it
they
too.
all should. Yeah, they all should be getting Mexican players.
I agree.
Scouting and development. Houston, obviously, we said right the two
Mhm. The two Texas
Texas
teams.
teams. And it's like with the Marlins. What have they been done? Like, how does Chicago have this? Which I don't know what Chicago's obsession is
The Cuban players.
with. I don't understand it. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad. It's not
No, no,
negative. But I don't get it. Like geographically, what is the that should be the Marlins should be doing that.
that
That
should be
should
the
be them,
pipeline for the Marlins. Yeah.
right? And it's too easy. And I don't get that. And then meanwhile, the White Sox, I mean, anybody who's Cuban, they're gonna either trade for them or sign them. And
But you don't
it's
think that there's something to be said about bringing Latino players to Miami and thinking that they're just not gonna be, fooling around?
I never thought of it that way.
I
That's
mean, we
part of it,
always
but
talk about it in the when we talk about the NBA and the
right, right.
NFL when they come to the Dolphins. I mean, you get a guy like Tariq Hill, and he just kind of vanished after he came to
Yeah,
Miami.
yeah, but what I'm gonna you're right, but what I'm gonna say is gonna sound controversial, but I'm gonna say it because it's good for content. But, but you can't compare baseball players with basketball players and football players. They've shown in not that baseball players are choir boys, but time has shown us that in football and the NBA, for whatever reason, these players can't keep it in their pants, bro. Like
Mhm.
it's the baseball players, you don't hear nearly as much of this stuff off the field.
I
So I
agree.
don't know if that's a factor. It could be, but I mean, come on. I mean, uh, Tyreek Hill messes around a couple years in Miami, winds up having like whatever 10 kids or whatever it is. You know, I mean,
It was
coño,
like
bro, like,
wrap it up.
bro, wrap it,
Eh,
wrap it up, right? Put it
but
away, bro.
yeah, no. So I think you're right about the pipeline. The Cuban pipeline should be coming through Miami. I think they
Yeah,
tried though, because remember, they got those Mesa brothers, the Victor Mesa, whatever their names is. They've
yeah,
tried
right, right,
to
right.
bring up
Yeah,
with some Cuban players. I mean, Jorge Soler came through. What else? I mean, there's been a few Cuban players,
obviously they
Livan, of
had Jose
course,
Jose Fernandez.
Jose
Um,
Fernandez. Tragic. Well,
y-
that goes
y-
directly to what I was talking. Maybe like that's very unfortunate what happened to him. But
that right, that was yeah, you're right. Yeah, he had
man,
problems at night. Like yeah, yeah, you're
I
right.
mean,
That was we didn't know what he was about off the field, and it cost him his
it
life.
it cost him his life,
He could have had he probably had a drug habit. Now that we think about it, we didn't know. But
basically.
somebody it's rare somebody's gonna do drugs for the first time and just say, "Let me get on a boat." And like, nah, that had to be something that was going on for a little while.
Correct.
So, unfortunately, um, one thing about on that note with the Cuban players, I think also Cuban players, and I'm not saying that it. I think there does need to be an emphasis on kind of finding some more Cuban players and kind of finding talent in other places too, right? Besides just Dominican Republic and Venezuela and USA. I think they do need to spread it around a little bit.
Mhm.
But um Cuban players are probably the most difficult to evaluate. Um it's got to be hard to evaluate them, especially nowadays. I would think,
They're-
even with
eh,
technology, right?
okay, so I would say yes. What they're doing right now is either they're going to Japan, right, and Korea, Asia, whatever, and it's hard to evaluate them there, right? And then you have them going also to DR, like Kendris Morales, that kid Kevin Alvarez. They've been going to DR to actually get signed when they're like, 16 and 17.
Right, right.
And it's hard, as you know, that's the
The
luck of the draw.
competition.
It's
It's
also luck of the
competition.
draw.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, how do you know that this kid is gonna pan out at the end of the day? Yeah, he could be great right now, but you just never know. I don't know how you solve it. Because right now you can't get them out of the island. You can't go to Cuba
Right,
and
right.
recruit guys because they're not there anymore. They just don't have the pool talent anymore.
It's actually sad because and the weird thing is that they're on MLB pipeline. They're here. So it's
Yeah.
like somewhere along the line they were there and they found them and they said
Mhm.
we're going to bring them, but then what's going to be next after that? And so
Yeah.
that's the question that we don't have the answer to. We're going to have to see how it plays out.
Correct.
So and I have to do some sort of episode in future with Yusuf about this because that's an
Yeah.
interesting.
You know what? Yeah,
We
that
got to
is.
do something.
We gotta do something with Yusuf. Yusuf and Henry. We're gonna both get them.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe
yeah, yeah.
Francis
Because
too. All of them.
right,
They might
right. I
have
because
different opinions on it, though. That's the
I
thing.
want to be informed as I like learning about because to me they're so like this is what happens with them. It's like Cuban baseball is like its own world. Like it's like a
Mhm.
different thing. It
Yeah.
everything's different. You got pro government, anti government. You got these will never play, these may play, these este, los otros, este es traidor, este no es traidor, este prospecto, no, este es un veterano. Yo, it's a whole totally
Yeah.
different can of worms.
I have mi barbero, he's Cuban, and he tells me like,
Cuban.
bro, basically the reason that this guy played, he told me, I don't know, I never ran this by Yusuf, but he told me the reason that Johan Moncada played for the Cuban team is because he has like businesses in Cuba and shit, and if he didn't play, like his family wouldn't, whatever, like they'll make it harder for him to
Oh,
move his stuff and whatever. I was like, I don't believe. I mean, it's not that I don't believe it. I have to research it
give him
with
the benefit.
Yusuf to see if it's true. But I was like, man, that's kind of messed up, like he had to,
Well, well, the vibe. Okay, so the vibe I get from Yusuf.
Mhm.
See, I try to read through the tea leaves. There's certain guys who he likes, certain guys he doesn't like. Usually, the guys he likes doesn't like are the ones that are more aligned with them.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
he doesn't like him too much. So I get the feeling that that could be true. That maybe he is. That's something we gotta ask him. But
Yeah,
that he kind of is aligned with the government in some way because
correct.
he plays in everything, como every
Tournament, every
showcase
World
tournament.
Baseball Classic, he's there.
And I think it's fair to say he's a bust relative to expectation. I mean, I know
Oh,
he's
for
playing,
sure, for sure.
but he's I heard, I mean, he was like the best thing since sliced bread when I heard about
Yeah,
like, and I could see why. You could see the tools, but he just never, I don't know, yo no sé si es por la mentalidad de él or whatever, but
I think
eh,
it's just mental. I think it's just mentally he's just not there. There's some plays that are just and he doesn't stay healthy enough to actually bring the best out of him either.
yeah, no, definitely. And I heard when he played in Puerto Rico, he only showed up for like a couple games and
And
then he
then
left because of an injury. And from what I was hearing from people I know is that he just left. Like he didn't want to stay. They
mhm,
were pissed. Like
yeah,
pissed. When I tell you pissed, they were pissed that he was they said he was making up an injury and left.
yeah, I can definitely
That
see it.
they that he was just bored and he left and because he played with San Juan. San Juan could have used them. They went to the final. They
Mhm.
didn't have him in the final. He didn't play because he hit a foul ball off his leg and that's it. He left. Se fue después de 5 partidos, ya gone.
That's
It
it,
was like, all
gone.
right.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, yeah. Abreu played for a little while too, then he left. So I don't know what that was too. But anyway,
I would always done. I think that's it.
no, it's
All right.
washed up, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, lo último que te
Yeah.
iba a decir ya, so we can close, is basically the two other. I was searching for some Mexican players also that play for Boston. Of course,
Yeah.
Beltugo and Adrian Gonzalez. I forgot about
That's right. That's right.
him.
Yeah, yeah. No, there's more. There's more. I was just giving there has to be
Out
more.
of
But there's
correct. It was out of just out of our memories, but this one I remember that there was another big Mexican, and I think Adrian Gonzalez was one of the
really
best
good player.
players. Oh no, no, no! He's the definition of Hall of very good.
Yes, yes. If he would have had a couple more elite years, you would have looked at him as a Hall of Famer.
Definitely.
At least three, 2 or 3, maybe.
To the point
Two.
where
Yep.
I think his peak. Damn, like, maybe I'll get in trouble. I'm not gonna get in trouble for this. I think his peak was
Go.
better than Todd Helton's. He just didn't have the stats as Todd Helton.
Mm, you know
What do you
what?
think?
Close. I. You know what?
Gotta look at
I'm
the
not gonna.
numbers. I'm gonna look at the numbers right now because that's a really
I think he
Adrian
was more. He was more
Gonzalez was
consistent. He was more consistent
Todd
than Ty
Helton for
Hilton.
sure. Todd Helton, no, Todd Helton I think was more consistent than Adrian Gonzalez. But Adrian Gonzalez, let me see, 5-time All Star. Todd Helton was a 5-time All Star too, 4 times
Mm.
Gold Glove for Adrian Gonzalez. Todd Helton only 3. But Ty Hilton won the batting title, and was a 4-time Silver
No,
Slugger.
no, no,
Adrian
no. Todd
Gonzalez was
Hilton
only
was
twice.
better. I was misremembering Todd Hilton. Todd Hilton was better. I'm sorry.
No, no, no. Ty Hilton was a beast.
You
Ty
know what
Hilton.
it is? I take that back. I was thinking of Todd Hundley. Todd Hilton.
Oh, bro.
I was thinking of Todd Hundley. Go back. No, Helton was better.
No. I am in agreement that Todd Helton was better, but if
Yeah.
you look at the numbers and the Gold Gloves and the accolades, Todd Helton never won an MVP either. I mean, I think they were very similar. The problem with Todd Helton is that you know he got 2,500 hits. Adrian
Coño,
Gonzalez
mano,
only got
pero
2,000 hits.
no, pero mira. Okay. Todd Helton would hit 320, 358, 347.
Yeah,
Come on. Like 320. Like he's a career 316 hitter, Gonzalez like a 285 hitter,
yeah.
which is good, but
Hmm.
come on, like I need
No,
edit.
and also the WAR, a almost 62 WAR for Todd Helton, and
Come
only
on,
40
yeah.
43.6 for Adrian Gonzalez.
He's a
Yeah,
Hall
yeah,
of
yeah.
Famer.
He's a Hall
Hall
of
of
Fame.
Famer. Yeah, man. I mean, he was tremendous. Man. Yo, people forget how good he was. I'm looking at that. Man, the Rockets could use him right now.
They could use
Man.
anybody. They could use Dante for Bichette. They could use
Dante
anybody.
Bichette, Vinny Castilla, I don't know, whoever. Cargo. They use any of those guys right now. What happened to Colorado as an organization? My God. It's like, did they stop trying or what? Like, what do we, they used to always have good players. Like, did they stop
Hmm.
producing? Like, what are they doing?
So I think what happened with them is they're on the same thing as they're on the same note as the Pirates. They cut money,
Tanking?
tanking,
Tank?
and the tanking is the worst thing on MLB because on the NBA you have the bright side of Cooper Flag and people like that, but in MLB is like, bro, we're not gonna see this guys for
Four
bro, I don't know how
years,
many
3 years,
years,
whatever. Uh-huh.
you know.
Dependiendo si es de la universidad, whatever. Yeah.
Correct. And it's very rare to get a guy like Paul Skeens that can run through it for 1 year and just be in the MLB. Nobody can do that. And nobody's gonna come and save him. And even the Pirates are having trouble with a guy like him, you
Right,
know.
right.
So what happened is that they're both on the same thing. Basically, we don't see our way out. We can't see a bright future, especially in this division. So we're just gonna tank to get the best talent that we can. And that's all it is. I mean, the
Right,
organization is
right.
just on. They don't want to sign anybody either. Like, who was a big signing? Chris Bryant? Come on, man.
That
I gotta be
contract
so
was a
upset.
disaster.
If I'm an owner, I'll be just so upset. I mean, because at the end of the day, you said I'm gonna trade Nolan Arenado to get Chris Bryant, and it just hasn't worked out, and it will
No, that
never
was a
work out.
terrible, terrible trade. No, he's finished. What is it?
Mhm.
I'll be honest with you. I was never a big Chris Bryant guy. And the reason for that is,
Mhm.
and I'll tell you why. Look at his numbers. Even when Chris Bryant, we're going off here all over the place, but when you look at Chris Bryant's numbers when he was with the Cubs, he always had high
Yeah,
strikeout numbers. Even back then, he
yeah.
struck out. He was a launch angle guy.
Mhm.
That was what he was. And once he wasn't able to get the correct swing he wanted to, people figured that out. He
Mhm.
never adjusted. That was it. That was the only. He had one swing, which was just the
No, no,
launch
no.
angle swing.
His biggest problem, he can't stay healthy.
Well,
Can't stay
besides
healthy.
that, yeah,
Yeah. No, no, no. Besides that, I mean, you don't have to tell me nothing else after that. I mean, if you can't stay
yeah,
healthy, you got to be
yeah,
one of the worst hitters. That's all it is.
yeah,
Anyways, but that's
yeah,
it, my
bro.
boy.
Yeah, man.
Man,
So
you're not gonna edit this tonight, though, right?
no,
It's getting
fuck
late.
no. I'm going to sleep, man. So
Yeah.
tomorrow, I'll try to get it out tomorrow. I'll edit it
All
tomorrow.
right,
Put it out tomorrow. So all right,
Santos. Thank you
brother.
so much for having me, brother. Seriously.
Willie Baez,
Hey,
of course, man. Anytime, bro. Hold on, let me
you
end
gotta
this
come
recording.
by. You gotta come by. We gotta talk next.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Even if we get out, we gotta talk about the Knicks and just have a
Yeah,
preview.
you let me know.
It's
We'll
gonna be in
set it up. Yeah.
Spanish, but it
Sí, claro,
basically
vamos.
even we win or we lose, I want to do a preview with you because you're the mastermind of
Now I'm the sports aficionado.
yeah.
I have to start that one.
That is true. Bueno, Santos, thank you
Well,
so
my
much,
bro.
brother.
See you, brother. Willie Baez. Thank you for joining me, brother. All right. Of course, you guys watching on YouTube, hit the like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching wherever you are. And as always, live life as if you're in a 3-2 count. Until next time.